Okay, so we have covered ordinary annuity, we have covered annuity due, we know how to use ordinary annuity to solve the problem of annuity due. Okay. Okay. Now what we want, okay, over here, okay, so there is something which we are interested in doing is finding out when the cash flows are unknown. So okay, let's leave the cash flows. When we are doing the discounted cash flow function, we will use the cash flow method. Okay, uh, before that there are certain problems which require you to have an understanding of the shift in the timeline. So think about this. You are investing 100 rupees. Okay, you have invested for 3 years, but you want to withdraw at the end of 10 years. Okay, getting the idea? 0, 1, 2, 3. You have invested only for 3 years, but you want to withdraw at the end of 10 years. Okay, you want to withdraw money over here. I want to know what will be the amount that you will get. The question is clear? You have invested for 3 years 100 at certain rate. I want to know that how much you will withdraw at 10 years. Okay, after 10 years, that means you are not contributing anything. Your money is, whatever money you have deposited, it is still there and it is earning interest. Okay, so how we can compute this type of problem? Okay, so if you see this, can I find out the FV of this? Can I find out the FV of this over here? Can we find out FV at 3? Right? How we will do it? N is 3, I by Y let's say is 10, PV is 0, PMT is negative 100, FV is 0. Right? So FV I have to compute. So I will be able to get FV at 3. Now once you have got FV at 3, it is as good as saying that you deposited some amount which is FV at 3 and it will become some value at FV at 10. So it will get compounded for 7 years. It is as good as I can say this. Right? So your FV at 10 will be equal to your FV at 3 into 1 plus R to the power, count how many number of years will be. Over here it will be 7. So this will be your value. So you can get such type of problems. Okay. Another type of problems you can get is wherein, let's see, okay, what type of problems. Another is, let's say you will be getting some amount 100 after let's say 5 years. So 5th year you are getting this, 6th year you are getting this, 7th you are getting this. I want to know what is the value at t equal to 0. Okay, that is, I want to know what is the present value of this money that you are getting on 5th, 6th and 7th. Can I say if I am solving it at the using the end mode, if I am solving at the end mode, where the PV will come? Will the PV come at 5, 4, 0? Where? Remember we have said that when you are using end mode, the PV will come one period before first payment. Right? So it should come at 4. It will come before 1 year, one period before the first payment. Right? So it will be at 4. Right? So you have got PV at 4. Let us say it's PV 4. But I am interested in finding out PV at 0. So what you have is PV 4 and you want to have PV 0. Again you will just follow the discounting. Whatever PV 4 you obtained divided by 1 plus R. How many years? 4 number of years. So if you see this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. So it's a total of 4 years. So PV 4 divided by 1 plus R to the power 4. So this is one type of problem. Yes, yes, Aditya. No. So if you see, we had deposited 5, 6, 7. We got the PV at 4. Okay. We are interested in finding out the PV at 0. Right. What you will do is discount it 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. Right. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. How many periods are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So your PV at 0 will be whatever PV at 4 divided by 1 plus R to the power 4. Now one more type of problem which you will be getting in the examination. Okay. Discounted value at the 4th year moving backwards. Yes, we will move backwards. So whatever the 4th value we have, we will bring it back to 0. Discount it back to 0. Another type of problem which you will be getting is retirement type of problem. Okay. Okay. Now when we are doing like CFA, for us retirement calculation is very important, because we will be having lots of clients who are investing money now and they want to get payments after their retirement. Okay. So some type of problems which we can get is, think about a person. Okay. He is investing every year, every month, let's say 100 rupees. Okay. And he will be investing this for next 20 years. Okay. So what will happen is, after 20 years he will build some wealth. He will build. Now this person, he can withdraw that wealth after 20 years. Okay. But he says that no, I will not withdraw. I will retire out and on this year, and what I will do is, from this wealth I will get some amount XXX every year till I am alive. Okay. So let's say he says that he will be alive for 30 years more. Okay. And in all this retirement calculation, we will assume that he will use all the money for himself. Okay. He will not leave any money for his son or daughter. Okay. Until unless it is stated in the problem. So he will use all the money for himself. So we are interested in finding out, if he lives for 30 years, okay, how much money he can withdraw. So this is one type of question. Another type of question is the reverse, wherein we say that the person is thinking of retiring after 20 years, okay, and he thinks he will be living for 30 years, and he says that okay, if he lives the same lifestyle which he is living now, so after retirement he will require, let's say, $5,000 every month, okay, to live. So he requires $5,000 every month. We are asking the question as to how much he should invest now, so that he can withdraw 5,000 every month. You are required to understand one thing only, okay, that is cash flow. So here what is happening is, you are investing, here you are withdrawing. Okay. So that means whatever amount you have invested, whatever it has become future value, the same money you are using it over here. Okay. We are assuming here also you are earning interest. You are earning interest throughout. Here what you are earning, here also you are earning. Okay. So this future value, whatever it has come, can we say that it will become the present value for this scenario? Can we say that? So whatever the money you have earned over this period, you have invested, it will accumulate as future value at this point of time. Right? Can I say that the person will withdraw, will eat from the future value which he has, but this time it will become a corpus for him, it will become a present value for him, and he is using, from that he is using all this XXX amount. Okay. So what we have is, in this scenario what we will be having, the left case is, let's say N is 20 years means 240 month. Interest rate, let's say we are talking about, is 10% per year. For per month it will be how much? 10 by 12, right? Per month it will be 10 by 12. What is the PV? Can I say PV will be 0? What will be PMT? Minus 100. These are the investments you are doing. So you will be able to compute the future value. That future value will be over here. Let's say future value amount comes as AA. So your future value comes as AA. Right? Now when you are solving at this part, what happens is, your PMT is unknown, but you know N. How much is N? 30 years you are living 360, 12 into 30, 360. What is I by Y? Assuming that he is keeping the same investment account. However, people can have different investment account also, because when they are retiring, they can put in lower interest rate. They want to have it safe. Okay, they can put it in the lower rate, but here we are assuming it is the same 10. Okay, what is PV? What is PV over here? Will it be 0? No, why it will be 0? So if PV is 0, from where you will withdraw this money? How you will get this money? XXX. From where you will get this money? Can I say that it will be AA? Whatever amount you have invested over here, so PV will be the previous FV, it will be AAA, right? Now PMT, is it known to me? PMT is not known to me. Is FV known to me? FV will be 0, because we are saying that he will not leave any money for his children. Okay. So this is how you will compute. So please note that in all the calculation there will be one unknown. Okay, this is the unknown over here which we will be computing. By the way, this is not the only method to solve this type of problem. Okay, it is not necessary to bring FV in the middle. You can bring FV at the end also, or if you are interested, you can bring FV at here also, or for that matter anytime before also. What we want is a common point. Okay, one thing is like when you are bringing FV over here or when you are bringing it over here, the number of calculation that you will be performing will be more. So that is why we take the middle path. We say that FV we will take it in the whatever we'll say middle. You produce FV from here, that FV will be utilized to satisfy your needs over here. Okay. Now let's see some other application. Okay. Now there is one thing, CAGR. Okay. CAGR, what is the full form? Compounded annual growth rate. Okay. So this is compounded annual growth rate is your CAGR. That is at what rate your money has grown. Okay. Now you will find this application to find out the sales growth or profit growth of companies. Okay, or even when somebody says that your money becomes double in 5 years or 6 years, okay, you will get the same calculation of CAGR. Okay, so it is nothing but it's a calculation of I by Y. If you see, so take an example. Okay, you have invested $100 today, okay, at t equal to 0. At t equal to 5 you are getting $200. I want to know at what rate your money has grown. So you have how many years? You have 5 years. What we are saying is at what constant rate R your money has grown over the years. So what we can say is future value is how much? 200. What is the present value? Negative 100. We have to always make sure that future value and present value have opposite sign. Okay. Will there be any payment over here? What will be payment? There is no payment. I am making it in the middle. Payment will be 0. What will be N over here? N is 5 year. I do not know the I by Y. Right? So your I by Y is your CAGR, that is the rate at which your money is growing. So you can compute I by Y and you can say that this is the CAGR.